There are three disaccharides that you need to be able to identify the structures, the monomers that make up those disaccharides, and the unique bonding between. Each of these disaccharides are unique, but also very much present in our daily diet. Looking at the most common disaccharide, maltose. Maltose is a product of carbohydrate digestion, specifically our starches, which have the amylopectin and amylose. And our enzymes will break down those polysaccharides into maltose. What you need to know. First, we want to be able to identify the monosaccharide present. Here is a hint. All three disaccharides will have a glucose molecule. So it's the other monosaccharide you need to be able to identify. In maltose, if we look at carbon number 4, because both of these are aldohexoses, so it could either be glucose or galactose. As we have talked about it, they differ at the position of carbon number 4. Glucose has the hydroxyl group going in the downward direction, whereas galactose has the hydroxyl group going above. Therefore, each of these monosaccharides are a glucose. Now, we also need to know what enantiomer of glucose we are working with. Go to carbon 6 to be able to identify the enantiomer of D or L. If that carbon 6 is above the ring, that is our D enantiomer. Each of these glucose monomers are therefore D-glucose. Lastly, because they're in their Hayworth structure, we need to know the anomer that these are. In maltose, our first glucose has to be in the alpha position. It is alpha D-glucose, because maltose will always have an alpha 1,4 glycosidic linkage, which is why the first glucose monosaccharide is an alpha D-glucose. The other monosaccharide, or D-glucose, can either be an alpha or a beta. It all depends on what's on that enantiomer. If the hydroxyl group is going above the carbon, that would be our beta enantiomer. If the hydroxyl group is going below the carbon, that would be our alpha anomer. So glucose monosaccharide 2, it doesn't really matter. You just need to be able to identify which one we are talking about. Lactose is our next disaccharide. Lactose is found in our dairy products. People who are lactose intolerant may not make enough of the enzyme to break the glycosidic linkage we find in lactose. Therefore, it's going to be bacteria that is in our gut that is going to break it down for us. And in that process, the bacteria is going to be expelling CO2 as gas, and that's where the gastral pain comes from if you have lactose intolerance. Now, with lactose, we need to identify our two monosaccharides. Looking at that first monosaccharide, we know these are going to be aldohexoses because they are 6-membered rings. So it could be glucose or galactose. We want to then look at carbon 4. carbon 4 has that OH group going above the carbon. That is unique to galactose. So the first monosaccharide in lactose is galactose. I feel like Glinda right there where she goes Galinda, but it's galactose. Another way to keep this in mind is that lactose is part of the name of galactose. So that's also another way you can remember it's a monomer of this. We need to know if it's a D or L enantiomer of galactose. Carbon 6 is in the upward direction, so this is going to be D-galactose. And lactose has a beta glycosidic linkage. Therefore, the galactose we are working with has to be a beta D galactose. As I had mentioned, glucose will always be one of the monomers. So I guess you guessed that monosaccharide 2 is a glucose. Excellent. Well done. So we know that this one is going to be a glucose. It is going to be a D-glucose because that carbon 6 is above the chain. And its anomer is dependent on which glucose we're using. So if that OH group is above the anomeric carbon, this would be beta D glucose. If that hydroxyl group is below that anomeric carbon, this would be an alpha D glucose. So we just have to look at that last, or the anomeric carbon on that glucose. Lactose has a beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage. As you will see in our carbohydrates lab, when we use amylase to try to break down cellulose and sucrose, both of those have beta linkages. Our body does not readily have enzymes that break down a beta linkage. This is another reason that if we don't have lactase in our body, lactase is specific to breaking that beta 1,4 glycosidic linkage. Without it, we can't break it down readily, which is why lactose is a lot harder for us to digest, especially as we get older. Our last disaccharide is sucrose. Sucrose is what we find in table sugar. Sucrose has its 2 monosaccharides. This one's a little bit easier to identify because, again, we know that one of them have to be a glucose, and we know that glucose is an aldohexose. But if you look, there's also a 5-membered ring, and we know 5-membered rings are a ketohexose, and the only ketohexose we need to be able to recognize is fructose. It's like all right there for you. All right, so looking at our glucose. Again, we know that one of our monosaccharides have to be glucose, and because there's only one 6-membered ring here, it's glucose. We need to be able to identify that it's D or L glucose because that carbon 6 is above the ring. We know we are working with D glucose. Here, with our D-glucose, in order to make sucrose, we need that hydroxyl group from that glucose to be in the alpha position. Therefore, we need an alpha D-glucose. Below, we know we have fructose. It is going to be D-fructose because carbon 6 is above the ring. We must have the beta D-fructose because remember that it is carbon 2 that's the anomeric carbon in fructose. Carbon 1 is achiral, it does not participate here. Because we're bonding to carbon 2 is also an anomeric carbon, which means that we have to use a beta D-fructose in this structure. Since both anomeric carbons are participating in this glycosidic linkage, it needs to have both Greek letters so we know where those linkages come from. The two different ways in which you can represent these linkage is alpha, beta, between carbons 1 and 2. They go in order, alpha 1, beta 2. Or, if you prefer, you can put the Greek symbol next to its number, so alpha 1 is bonded to beta 2. Both of these are an appropriate way to represent the glycosidic linkage that is occurring between glucose and fructose to make sucrose.